Have you ever had a hard time solving just the first cell in a Sudoku? Do you need help finding break-ins to what would otherwise be easy puzzles? I will show you the easily overlooked strategy in this Sudoku and teach you how to never get stuck by it again. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go, and with that, it's solving time. Look where the ones can go in block 2. Because of this one, there's only 2 possibilities for a 1. So I'm going to mark that using Snyder Notation. Anytime in a 3x3 block, you have 2 possibilities for a candidate. You mark it. In case we solve one, we can solve the other right away. You need to find as much restriction as possible in this puzzle to set up our main strategy. Where can the 2's be here in block 1? You have a 2 here. You have these 2's. Only 2 possibilities for a 2. It's all marked the Snyder 2's in block 1. And then in block 5, with these 2's and this 2, Snyder 2's right there. Greetings, friend. Each Friday in May, I'm bringing you a featured selection from the Sudoku Cult Gospel. Sam Kappelman-Lyons, Jovial, Philip Newman, and Shy, 4 of the world's top setters, created the Sudoku Cult Gospel to teach you new and wonderful Sudoku strategies. Sam created this puzzle specifically to help you find an easily overlooked strategy. Thank you so much, Sam, for this fantastic puzzle. Look in block 7. Where can the 3's go? So this 3 in the row and this 3 in the column. Only 2 possibilities. We'll make Snyder 3's in block 7. You'll notice we haven't solved any cells yet. How about the 4's? These 2 4's, we can put Snyder 4's in block 3. And then with this 4, Snyder 4's in block 4. All right, how about the 5's? Because of this 5, Snyder 5's in block 4. And then with this 5 and this 5, Snyder 5's in block 8. That's it for the 5's. How about the 6's? You actually have 1, 2, 3 6's here, so we can put Snyder 6's in block 5. And then if you go down to block 7 with these 2 6's, 2 marks right there. Nothing but the 7's as far as Snyder notation goes. How about the 8's? Look in block 5. You have 1, 2, 3 8's. That means we're going to be able to do some Snyder 8's right there. And that is it for Snyder. We did not find a pair. We didn't find any singles. Nothing. So please, please, please tell me and the other viewers what you did at this point in the puzzle. Drop it in the comments. I'm trying to build the best Sudoku community on YouTube. It starts with your interaction. I value your comments so much, I respond to each and every one of them. This puzzle is called a one-stepper. What that means is if you find the break-in, you're going to be rewarded with a somewhat gentle solve path. The way to find the break-in in this puzzle, and what Sam is trying to teach you, is you have to look for what I call telegraphing. He put some restrictions in the givens of this puzzle and wanted your eyes to go look in that. What are the 2 most filled out blocks in this puzzle? Block 2, which can only be a 1, 7, or 9. And block 4, which can only be a 4, 5, or 9. Sam wanted you to look over here in these 2 blocks. And now, that by itself doesn't give us enough information to make any solves, but we did create some BVC, some by-value cells. Okay, so where's the next part of the restriction? Well, how do these 2 blocks interact with each other? You can look here in block 5, which has no cells filled out, or you can look over here in block 1, which we have 2 cells filled out, and we have some extra candidates in this column and in this row and also in this column. So what we want to do is we want to fill out row 3 and column 2, okay? And normally you wouldn't look at this because there's only 4 candidates filled out. I usually wait for 5 before I fill out the rest of the column, but you need to in this case. You have a 1, 2, 5, 6. We need a 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. So 8 can't be there. And you see a 4, 7, 8 can't be there. So we create another BVC. And then we have a 3, 4 there, create a 7, 8, 9. How about in column 2? We have a 1, 2, 6, 7. We need a 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Well, I see a 4 and an 8 in row 1. I see a 3, 4, 5 in row 2. So create another BVC. All right, this is getting good for us. And then down here, you can't have a 5 there, and you can't have a 3, 4 right there. Okay, you might notice there's quite a bit of 9s here. If we could eliminate maybe one of these 9s from one of these BVCs, we might be able to break into this puzzle. Look at this cell right here. It can be a 7, 8, or a 9. You notice, there's 3 candidates, right? It sees 2 of those candidates right here in the 8, 9, and that's within the block. Look across the row. So we looked in column 2. Now we're looking across row 3. You might notice you have 2 other of the 3 candidates in the row. And both of these blue cells see this orange cell. So look at the 3 possibilities here. Either that's cell's going to be a 7, 8, or a 9. Well, if it's a 7, that means this blue cell ends up being a 9. If it is an 8, then this blue cell ends up being a 9. Okay? The third possibility is that this cell could be a 9. You might notice no matter what this orange cell is, one of these colored cells has to contain a 9. And so whenever you have this situation, you have 3 cells. One of the cells sees the other 2. One of the pivots, one of the pinchers is in the block. The other is in the same house, so it could be in a column or a row. And the blue cells contain 2 of the 3 candidates. So this is an 8 or 9, and this contains another 2 of the 3 candidates, so 7 and 9. You found yourself a Sudoku XYZ-Wing, right? 3 different candidates, 7, 8, 9, means a 9 has to be in one of the colored cells. So we can eliminate a 9 from any cell that sees all 3. And so these 2 positions would see all 3. That's already filled in, so you know this cannot be a 9. If you put a 9 there, what would happen? Well, that cell would be an 8. That cell would be a 7, and then you'd have nothing to put in that cell. So we know we'd break the puzzle if a 9 was right there. This is beautiful. This is what Sam wanted you to find, was this XYZ-Wing. So we eliminate the 9 from right here, and now we're going to be able to make some more solves happen. And if you're just not sure how XYZ-Wings work and you want to figure out a little bit more about them, check out this tutorial. Meanwhile, I'm going to move the colors, and we're going to do what I call following the Snyder. So we're going to put a 3 right there, which allows us to eliminate the 3 from here, displacing that Snyder, and we can solve for a 3 right there in block 7. And now with these 2 3s and this 3, we can solve for a 3 in block 8, displacing that Snyder 5. Okay, after doing that, you'll notice that with this 4 and this 4, we actually now can put Snyder 4s in block 7, and they act as a pointing pair. By a pointing pair, that means that the 4s have to be somewhere in block 7. They're in the same column, and so a 4 cannot be outside that column, outside the block in that column, because if you put a 4 here, you'd have no place to put a 4 in block 7. So these 4s now bump out this 4 from right there. We can solve that cell for a 9, displacing that Snyder 4, displacing that Snyder 5. And now we can notice with these 2 5s and the 5 we just put there that we can put the 5 here, displacing that Snyder 4 that we just marked. And we can kind of do a little bit more with the 5s, with these 2 5s. There's only one place left for a 5 now in column 2. It's going to be right there. And now with these 2 5s and these 2 5s, whenever you have 4 of a candidate peering into a block, there's only going to be one possibility left. That has to be your 5, displacing that Snyder 6. Okay, we are starting to fill in some cells here in this grid. Great. All right, let's look at what this 2 can do. It cuts across row 7, so it creates a pointing pair of 2s that restricted to column 5 in block 8. So now we can displace that Snyder 2 and solve this cell for a 2. And what this creates here, you might notice, is we have a 1, 7, 9 to fill out column 4. Well, I have a 1 right here, and I got a 1 right there. So these can only be a 7, 9. And the only place left for a 1 in column 4 is up there. So we can remove that marking as well. I'll take this 3 as an opportunity to remove the 3s from those 2 cells. After doing and solving this 1, let's see where 3s can go here in block 5. I got a 3 here, and I got a 3 there. So 3 can be right there, displacing that Snyder 8. And now the 8s can't be in these spots, can't be here. we can solve for an 8 in block 8. And we can do a little bit more with the 3s here, because we solved these two 3s, and this 3, you can solve for a 3 here. And then with these two 3s and this 3, we can put a 3 in the corner. Dun, dun, dun. Awesome job there. All right, now look at the 4s. Okay, we're going to 4B here in block 5, because this 4 cuts across. You can solve for 4 right there. We can put some Snyder 4s right here. And so now this is going to be a little bonus tip for you. What we have here is a mini X-Wing. Whenever you see that the Snyder marks are in the same two columns in this band of 3 blocks here, you know 4's got to be there and there, or there and there. And so since the 4's are restricted to columns 8 and 9 in blocks 3 and 6, you know here in block 9, 4 can't be in any of these spots. It has to be here or here. But since we already have a 4 right there, you can solve this cell for a 4. It's a hidden single. A 4 cannot exist anywhere else in the column. So let's remove that. Nice little bonus tip for you. And now I want you to see here too is if you look across row 7, we need a 1, 7, 9. That can be a 7, 9. Well, the 1 can't be here, so this has to be your 1, and this is going to be a 7, 9. And you may notice if you look across row 6, that can also only be a 7, 9. So I'm going to give you a bonus tip here. You might be looking at these 4 cells and going, Timberlake, we have a uniqueness problem here. Boom, boom, boom. You cannot have one solution to this puzzle. Well, here's the tip. Uniqueness doesn't apply when the cells are in 4 different houses, 4 different blocks. In this case, since they're in block 5, 6, 8, and 9, it's not uniqueness, because you can have something up here that's going to affect the value in this cell, or something over here that'll affect the value of this cell, and it doesn't affect the value of that cell. Okay, I thought this was really cool to see this 7, 9 naked pair in both those columns. Just realize it is not a uniqueness problem. This puzzle does have a unique solution. But what we can do now with this 7, 9 naked pair is we can look up here and go, okay, we just need a 2, 6, 8 to finish the column. I'm going to use my neat naked triple trick. Since I have a 2 and an 8 looking at this cell and the H repeater right there, we can solve all 3. Because we know this cell now has to be the 6. The only place the 8 goes is right there, and this cell is going to be your 2. Okay, after doing that, we can focus more on the 8s because we just solved an 8. Those 2 8s means this cell has to be the 8, which, remember, forces a 9 right there. And now with these 2 8s, we can solve for an 8 right here. And then with these 2 8s and this 8, we can finish out the 8s in block 9. After doing the 8s, look up here in block 6. You notice you get a 1, 4 remaining because we already have a 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I got my 1 right here. This is your 1 displacing that Snyder 4, allowing us to solve for the 4 right there because this could no longer be your 4. After doing the 4 in block 3, we have this 1 and this 1. We can solve for 1 in block 5. And then we can look over here and where can a 1 go? And what can be in these 3 cells here, right? We have a 2, we have a 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. We need a 1, 2, or 7. Well, I got 2 and a 7 right there. That has to be your 1. All right, and I got the 2 repeated, so this is going to be your 2. That's going to be your 7, and that's going to be a 1 right there. Nice. And now I'm going to do what's called sweeping the blocks. So we just fill out this block. Let's go over here. This is what all the experts do. They kind of go block to block because it's the quickest way to go through the rest of the grid without scanning back and forth. We know we can clean out and sweep out block 2 with a 9, 7 right there. And then with this 7, we know that's a 9 pretty quickly. And all we need here is a 6 and a 7. Well, I see the 6 right there. But here's your 6, here's your 7. Great. And now with this 9, we only have a 7, 9 remain. We know that's a 7 and that's a 9. We just swept out block 6. So let's sweep out block 5 now. Okay, with the 9, we know that's a 7. That's a 9 right there. All right. And we're going to move into block 8 because of the 7. That's got to be a 9. All we need is a 2 and a 7. Oh, I see the 7 right there. So here's your 7, here's your 2. Cool. Going here to block 9, we're going to get a little head start because we have the 9 right there. We know that's got to be the 7. And then we have a full house here, so we know certainly we can solve this for a 9, which now leads us to just a 2 and a 6. I'm going to pull that 2 over from block 8. So here's your 2, there's your 6. Come over here, displace the Snyder 6. So we know that's going to be your 6. The last digit is a 9. See if you can spot the XYZ-Wing in this next video. Thank you so much for watching.